In this video, I am going to show you how to start to learn to finger crochet with our t-shirt yarn in a circular pattern. Now that we have our t-shirt yarn, let's make something with it. The first thing we need to do is we need to make a slip knot. So we're going to make a loop with our yarn and then bring the working yarn through the loop and put that on our finger. Tie it snug, and there's our slip knot. And when we're working with a circular pattern, we're going to make a short chain. A chain is where we start all of our crochet projects. But since we want to be building outwards, we're starting small. So we're going to chain 4. Wrap your yarn over and then draw the previous stitch over that 4 times. And then to make a circle, we want to join our beginning and our end. So we're going to find this first opening on the end, right after our slip knot. We're going to insert our finger, yarn over with our working yarn, pull through, and then pull over our first stitch. And now we've got a circular shape. So when we're working with the circle, like I said, we need to be building out and always adding stitches. So we're going to go again through this first loop, yarn over, pull that through, yarn over, pull both off. Find the next loop. This can be a little tricky on your first round, but here's our next loop. This is stitch 2. Insert the finger, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, both off. Next loop. This is number 3, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, both off. And so we basically need to judge how many stitches we're adding. So I like to stretch these out to see where I'm at. You see how there's a bit of space left here? I'm going to add another stitch there, because we want our new rounds to make it all the way around. We want to be adding enough stitches so that we don't create cupping. Next stitch, this is number 4. Let's look at that, see if we need to add another stitch. I think we do. Let's add another stitch. And then we've made it once all the way around, so we're going to start adding stitches to these single crochets. On the first round, I want to take only this back part of the loop. See, this is the entire single crochet. This is the entire single crochet. It consists of this front thread and this back thread. So I'm going to take my finger through just the back and add a single crochet. And looks like I need another. I'm going to add a second single crochet. Next, moving on to the next stitch, through the back, single crochet. I don't think I need another one in that stitch because this is meeting all the way around. Here's the beginning of our next stitch, and we're right here. So the back of that stitch, single. I do need another one there, so we'll add that. Next stitch through the back, I don't need another stitch there. Moving on. And I could use another stitch there. Let's do that. And let's do one more through the back here. Next stitch, single crochet. So now I want to switch to going through our entire stitch. Instead of just taking my back loop here, I want to take both the front and the back of the V when I'm making my new stitch. So taking that V through the hole, grab the yarn, yarn over, and pull free. And keep going like that. As we start to build outward, we're going to need to add fewer and fewer stitches. So at the beginning, we're building very quickly. And we still are building quickly. We have to expand to make our circle grow and grow and grow. But you'll see it begins to taper off how many times we need to put 2 stitches into one on the previous row. So there's 2 there. That one needs 2 as well. Next. That one only needs 1. Let's move on to the next stitch. That one also looks like it only needs 1. I have a feeling this one is going to need 2 because the 2 before were just 1. There's some space. You see how there's space left? This is the stitch I've just added. This is my existing row stitch. So I need to make it from here all the way here to the next stitch. So with all of this empty space, I think it is good to add another stitch. And that's how you decide if you need 1 or 2. See, now I've reached the end and I can start on my next stitch. This is why I like to kind of pull it like this to see how much space I've got and whether or not I need an additional stitch. And this is just how we're going to continue for the entire length of our project, whether we're making a rug, a circular placemat, or a coaster, whatever we're making. We just keep building out in a circle. This is going to give us this nice round shape. Let's add another one there. We don't want to add too many stitches or else our outside is going to become wavy. It's going to have too much material. So if we don't add enough stitches, we're going to be cupping. See how this is the circle we've just added. And if this doesn't have enough stitches, it's going to draw in. It's not going to be big enough to lay flat. If we add too many stitches, we're going to have too much material on this outer row, and it's going to have nowhere to go, so it's going to start forming little waves. So we just need to keep a really close eye on our work, lay it flat every once in a while, and take a peek at what's going on before we continue on. And like I said, we're getting to a point where we don't need to add quite as many stitches as we did at the very beginning. And a little bit of cupping is normal, but as long as you can flatten it down, you should be fine. I'm going to add another stitch there. Now that I've reached the end of my white yarn, I'm going to add a bit of brown to give a little accent around the edge. So I'm going to take the end of my white yarn, fold it over, and make a tiny hole. Take the end of my brown yarn, fold it over, and make a tiny hole. I'm going to unravel this yarn ball. And then once I have both ends here, the one I've just made the tiny hole in, I'm going to feed through the tiny hole in my working yarn. If I can get it, it's a very tiny hole. And then I'm going to take the tail end of this brown, feed it through the hole at the beginning, and string it all the way through. And then pull that snug, so we've just got a little knot. And now I'm going to wind up my brown yarn again, and we'll just keep crocheting the same way we did before. I am starting to get a little bit of cupping, so I want to make sure I'm adding stitches on every row. Now I believe because this is a little bit of a thicker yarn, I don't need to add quite as many rows because one stitch is going to go a little bit farther. So just continue to judge where everything is falling, how many more stitches you need to reduce cupping and continuing to expand your circle.